Hello everyone. I want to show you another problem where you go from mass to mole and then eventually from mass to mass as well. So hopefully this helps you out when you do your worksheet and also as a study resource for you for the quiz and the exam. So let's take a look. The question asks for how many moles of chlorine is required to react with this amount of iron to make ferric chloride. So what we're looking at is that I need to know, that's my question, moles of chlorine, that's what I want at the very end. And then my given, so I like to do this where I underline what I want. And then this is my given. So now notice there's no chemical equation. That's why you're going to have the first step is for you to write one and balance it. So I have already written out the steps. I'm just going to fill it in now. The chemical equation is like so. Remember that chlorine is a diatomic gas, so make sure it's CO2. All right, and then I'm going to balance this like so. All right, step one done. We got the chemical equation all good and balanced. Now, the second step is for you to convert all the masses to moles. The only mass I'm seeing is our given, actually, so let's start there. You want to convert this into mole by using the molar mass. And it's very important, the molar mass is gram per mole, so it's very important that you know which one goes at the top or which one goes at the bottom. As I mentioned in class, you want the one at the bottom to cancel out, and we want it to be at the one, we want what left behind is mole of iron. So that means at the bottom it has to be gram. And at the top it's be mole. So since this is the molar mass of iron according to your periodic table is this, and that's 1 mole of iron is that many grams. When you plug it in the calculator, you should see that the answer comes out to be this really long number, and I want you to write down as many, I think around that looks good. That's just because at this point we don't count significant figure yet. All right, no significant figure counting here. You save that until the very last step. So now that we got the mole of iron, now we use the mole ratio, just how I show you in class. So now the new given is no longer the 867.44 gram of iron. Our new given is actually this. So I want to transfer that number down here, where now I can use the mole ratio to figure out the mole of chlorine. Because remember, we don't want mole of oxygen, we want mole of chlorine right there. So looking at our trusty chemical equation, I know that I want, let's do the backbone first. The backbone is that I want mole of iron at the bottom because I want it to cancel out. And then at the top, I want mole of chlorine because that's what I want at the end. Okay, so looking good. Now I just got to plug in. I'm seeing there are 2 mole of iron to 3 mole of CO2. And how did I get that? I got that from, let me redraw that. I got it from here, the chemical equation. So then going back to our problem, you plug it in the calculator, what you should get is also some other long number. It's 23.2974 blah 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 mole of CO2. Now this is the point where the first question does ask for how many moles, so we're basically done, but I need to figure out whether the sig fig is correct, which I don't think it is. So I want to look back at the original given number, which is this, the 867.44, that has 5 sig fig. So I also want my final answer to have 5 sig fig. So I'm going to round this up to be So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sig fig. So that would be my final answer if I stop there. Now, if I want to move even further and I ask you, instead of how many moles, I ask you what mass of chlorine is required to react with 867.44 grams of iron to make ferric chloride, you're going to take this one step further and you're going to convert this moles you just found to mass. And since if that's the case, since that's not we're not at the final answer yet, we're actually going to take this number instead of the one we just boxed. So I'm going to take that 2974 mole of CO2. Once again, when you convert moles to mass, you want to use the molar mass, but be careful of where you put the gram in a mole, because at the end we want gram of chlorine. So for the molar mass, the mole has to be at the bottom since I want the mole to cancel out right there. And gram of CO2, it's 70.9 gram of CO2. So you should get some number like 1651.78566 gram CO2. Okay, let's go back. This is not the right sig fig. I have to round it to 5 sig fig as we established earlier. So that would be that. So here is my final answer.